Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I want to talk in much more depth about Marvel Cosmic Invasion, a game that, at first glance, looks like a simple retro pixel art beat-em-up, but the more time I spent with it, the more I realized there is a surprising amount of ambition behind it. It's one of those games that look nostalgic on the surface, but once you start playing, you can see the modern polish, the Marvel energy, and the love for the genre shining through every frame. When you first fire up the game, the thing that hits you immediately is the art style. Yes, it's pixel art, but it's the good pixel art. Not the cheap retro shortcut, but that high-quality, artisanal, hand-animated look where every frame feels like someone spent hours perfecting it. The animations are incredibly smooth. Spider-Man's web swings have this slick arc to them, Wolverine's slashes look visceral, Nova's cosmic blasts pop with bright colors. It's like someone blended Saturday morning superhero cartoons with modern lighting and then filtered it through a retro arcade machine. The result is gorgeous. And it's full of personality. Every character, every background, every explosion has its own visual identity. But the visuals are only the start. The gameplay is where I got hooked. Marvel Cosmic Invasion is a side-scrolling beat-em-up, sure, but it's not mindless. It's got depth. It's got rhythm. It's got a system that feels like a modern evolution of classics like Streets of Rage or TMNT Shredder's Revenge, but with Marvel heroes and a much richer mechanical identity. The two-hero tag team system surprised me the most. Before playing, I thought it would just be a gimmick, something small, quick, barely noticeable. But no, it completely changes how you approach combat. You can switch between two heroes on the fly, and every switch has purpose. Maybe you start as Spider-Man because you want mobility and crowd control, then switch to Wolverine because you need raw damage. Or you go from She-Hulk's heavy grapples to Nova's ranged cosmic blasts. There's strategy in that moment, a sense of, what's the right tool for this situation? And it adds a real tactical layer to a genre that usually sticks to simplicity. Co-op mode takes that to an entirely different level. This game was born for multiplayer chaos. Local co-op, online co-op, drop in, drop out, the whole package. Nothing beats those moments when your friend sets up an enemy cluster and you follow up with an ultimate that wipes the screen. Or when two heroes sync their abilities unintentionally and it still looks amazing. Beat-em-ups are always fun with friends, but with Marvel heroes, flashy ultimates, and tag team mechanics, it gets wild in the best possible way. You know those moments in games where everyone is yelling, laughing, or panicking at once? This game is filled with them. The level design feels surprisingly varied, too. You start in New York City, neon lights reflecting off puddles, buildings collapsing in the background as the invasion begins. Then you're thrown into the negative zone. Alien structures, floating rocks, cosmic storms swirling in the background. Everything feels alive. Environments shift, screens shake, lighting pulses during boss phases. It gives the game a sense of scale that you don't normally get in pixel art titles. Speaking of bosses, they really stand out here. Annihilation is the main villain, and his presence is felt throughout the entire game. Many beat-em-ups have bosses that are basically just big enemies that hit harder. But Marvel Cosmic Invasion gives bosses stage mechanics, multi-phase behavior, army reinforcements, attacks that change the layout of the arena. I had this one moment where the boss literally shattered the floor mid-fight, forcing me to adapt to a new stage layout. Another boss flooded the screen with projectiles, turning the fight into a bullet hell pattern test. These encounters actually feel like real boss battles, exciting, challenging, and cinematic. Now let's talk about sound, because sound in this game is honestly underrated. The soundtrack blends retro chiptune vibes with heroic Marvel-style synths, which creates this hybrid sound that feels nostalgic but modern. The sound design of the combat is punchy. Wolverine's claws slash with quick, sharp impacts. Captain America's shield makes that tight metallic clang, and Spider-Man's webs have that signature thwip sound you instantly recognize. Even the explosions have depth. They don't sound like cheap arcade pops. They sound full, satisfying, and dramatic. The story is simple but effective. It's not trying to be a Marvel movie. It's trying to be a Marvel comic come to life, with bold poses, dramatic scenes, and expressive pixel art cutscenes. The Annihilation Wave invades Earth, heroes unite, the crisis escalates from the streets of New York to cosmic battlegrounds. It's classic Marvel escalation. Start grounded, go cosmic, keep raising the stakes. And while beat-em-ups don't usually focus on story, Cosmic Invasion gives you enough context and enough emotional setup that you genuinely feel like part of a larger event. Now, as much as I'm loving the game, I'm not blind to potential issues. Beat-em-ups, by nature, run the risk of repetition. If the enemy variety is too small or the combos don't evolve, the excitement can fade. But everything I've seen, from the previews, the demos, and the gameplay reveals, suggests the developers are aware of that. Multiple heroes with unique movesets, different biomes, boss mechanics, optional challenges, environmental hazards. It looks like they're intentionally fighting that repetition problem. Another thing I'm watching closely is hero balance. With a roster of iconic Marvel characters, making each one feel relevant and not leaving someone underpowered is tough. Some players who tried early demos mentioned that a couple heroes felt noticeably weaker. That's adjustable, of course. It's a balancing thing. And with a live service approach or post-launch patches, it can improve easily. But it's still something I'm keeping in mind. Performance-wise, I've been impressed. Even with tons of enemies on screen, effects flying everywhere, tag switches happening mid-attack, the frame rate holds steady. Pixel art doesn't automatically mean lightweight, especially not when you have layered lighting, high frame animations, and big boss sequences. But everything I tested felt smooth. Controls are responsive, inputs feel immediate, and there's that crisp precision that good beat-em-ups need. On controller, it feels perfect. On keyboard, it's playable, though honestly, this is a game designed for a gamepad. And I have to say this, Marvel Cosmic Invasion feels like a breath of fresh air. Not every superhero game needs to be enormous, photorealistic, open world, and cinematic. Sometimes we need games that remind us how fun it is to sit next to someone on the couch and just destroy waves of employees together. Games that feel pure. Games that feel energetic. Games that don't take themselves too seriously but still deliver quality. That's what this is. It's retro, but it's epic. It's simple, but it's stylish. It's accessible, but it has depth. And most importantly, it's fun. I walked away from the demo smiling, and that's not something every modern game manages to do. If the full release keeps this energy, adds enough levels, and continues introducing fresh mechanics, Marvel Cosmic Invasion might end up being one of the best modern beat-em-ups ever made. So yeah, those are my full thoughts. I'm excited, genuinely. I'll be keeping a close eye on the game as we get closer to release. If you're into co-op, into Marvel heroes, into brawlers, or into beautifully animated pixel art, this is absolutely something worth checking out. Thanks for listening, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.